So, hello and welcome everybody to round 2 of the Gentry leaderboard event here in Ghent. We are watching Niels Vandevelde against Laurent Mariën. Laurent is a rather new player in our community, so I don't have any inside scoops about what we might be expecting from him. Niels Vandevelde, on the other hand, is in the second position in the leaderboard, is trailing Edouard, the leader, by just 2 points. So one match difference between him and Edouard will be enough to overtake him by 1 single point. That will be an interesting nail biter, but they'll have another chance to settle the score. And I think April 13th is our season's closer, just 2 days before the Gentry Open actually happens. But it looks like both players are ready to go. Are ready to go. And are keeping their opening sevens. So let's see what these have brought to the battlefield. We have Cinder Barons from Niels Vandevelde, giving away his favorite color combination. Ooh, and a Tusker, not Tusker. God damn, I forgot the name. The cup thingy. Long Tusk Cup. Against the 2-3 lifelink Dead Toucher from Niels Vandevelde. So it looks like Laurent is on black-green counters, or black-green snake as the chat named it. Gifted Etherborn facing off against the little Long Tusk. And there we have the Constrictor, the very card. This entire deck is built around one of the additions from Ether Revolt that completely reshaped the metagame. I think that and Maverick Top Tourist have had the biggest impact on the format so far. But that Gifted Etherborn is keeping everything at bay quite handily at this point. Let's see what Niels has to bring to the fight to tilt this board into his favor. We have 3 mana for a Olivia. So whenever another creature enters the battlefield, you may discard a card. If you do, put a +1/+1 counter on that creature. It gets haste, and it becomes a vampire in addition to its other types. So I'm assuming we can expect a madness theme. So fiery tempers coming out of this deck, unless this is just a value card. It's a 3 mana 3/3 flying that buffs your team. There's pretty good value there. Would be an interesting card in the Junt version of black-green counters as well, now that I think about it. Okay, Laurent on 4 mana uses 3 of it to murder the Olivia. There we go. And still afraid to attack into the Gifted Etherborn. That's a Fiery Conclusion? No, what's it called? Fiery something, I think. Fiery... No, it's not Fiery. It's another spell. I don't know. It's not important. it killed the constrictor and exiled this. It's flames something. Let's see. Let's look at the flames. No, 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 no. Hungry flames. No, that's not the one. It's the other one. Okay, can't find it. It's the one that does 3 damage and exiles. Okay, so Niels on the offensive with the gifted Etherborn. That gives Laurent the opportunity to attack back and get his first 2 energy to Incendiary Flow. That's it, thank you very much. And we have a Bandar to go with a second Longtusk Cup. So let's have a look at the Incendiary Flow. For some reason Gatherer is getting really slow. So Incendiary Flow is what got rid of the Constrictor, and now we have a murderous compulsion, getting rid of the cup that got this +1/+1 counter. So again, hinting at a madness theme that is in this deck. Curious to see what else will be popping out of it. Laurent getting the chance to use his Bandar, does so, and gets his Longtusk Cup to 3/3. Don't really see the use here, since he has 2 energy to give it 3 power anyway, and that's pretty much the power you want it to be at. Now if he plays a Tusker, the Bandar is actually not big enough to take on the Etherborn. That's an attune with Ether. Attune with Ether. Getting his energy up to 4. So how many viewers do we have here in the meantime? There's 10 of you watching my babbling and rambling while I forget what cards we are looking at right now. So congratulations everybody, you're all rock stars. Okay, so Laurent still apparently a bit stuck here. Just as a question to the chat, is anyone would anyone want to share where they're from? Like some of you are dropping hints, so I know who you are, but just in case there's somebody international that's not actually part of our little community watching, I would really like to find out about that. So in the meantime, wow, Walking Ballista, kabam! So thank God that Constrictor is off the table already. And there we have it. Alright, from all the way from the United Nates of America, welcome JD. Moldaham BE, alright. So Fiery Temper took out the Walking Ballista. Not sure why the gifted Etherborn is still alive then. Did anyone notice what happened? Because I was too focused on the fact that we have an American watcher, viewer. So, Laurent, considering his options here, is attacking with the 1/1 Bandar and the Longtusk Cup. Niels smells something fishy and decides to trade with the Longtusk Cup before the fish arrives. and Laurent has a evolving wilds to follow up. Well, that'll make you scared about blocking a 1-1 with your 2-3 lifelinker. And we have a Twins of Morer Estate. Ah, yes, I recognize that one. I played it myself and I called the Bloodline deck. It's times like these that I feel very happy that I play the random cards as well, so that when I do coverage I actually recognize the crappy comments. Hey, you're welcome, JD. Is this the first time you're watching, or like, I don't know. I'm always a bit surprised when I see people from outside our community watching the channel. I guess it must be quite foreign looking, this weird budget version of Standard we've got here. It's a lot of fun though. So if you want to know more about it, let me just dump the link here. There you go. You can find a lot more information on that website. So in the meantime, we have a second Twins of Morer Estate coming into Rumble. That's a subtle strike to change combat. That's the trick that he was hiding last time as well. So Niels very handily played around that last turn, well, 2 turns ago, and we have another Twins of Morer Estate. Well, welcome JD. Just if you like what you see, if you're interested in the format, just whip up some decks, try it out for yourself, get a few friends addicted together with you, and start a community of your own. That's pretty much the only thing I can give you at this point. And awesome coverage and loads of fun, and my charming personality and the awesome gameplay of these high level players with their smoothly polished yes. No, just stick around, have fun. So the 3-5 madness threats are taking over the board here. Laurent unable to form a decent blocking team. Oh, that's what's it called? Blah blah alms. So alms of the vein. So apparently it's that's all she wrote. So apparently the madness theme is quite a lot stronger than we initially thought. So we've seen Twins of Morer Estate, we've seen Fiery Tempers, we've seen Murderous Compulsions, and now Alms of the Vein as a finisher. We haven't seen that many enablers for madness yet, so I have a feeling that there's a lot of surprises still hiding in this deck for us. This is somewhat a new deck. We have seen straight up black-red vampire madness decks, but this doesn't really look like that, so I'm curious to see what else we're gonna see. So, esoteric, where are you from exactly? Are you also from the United States? I kind of assume from what you're saying here. And again, you're welcome for covering it. This is my format and it's my event that I'm running, so we just decided, I made judges enough to do the actual little work so I could do something else, and that something else currently is doing coverage, which I'm getting the hang of. It's still a lot of work doing software and the card viewer and watching out and trying to recognize on my tiny screen what the actual cards are that people are playing. So you're welcome. I'm doing it to have fun. We're still looking to upgrade our equipment as well, so could get a lot better in the future, so feel free to I guess follow us. I was gonna say subscribe. We also have a YouTube channel which you can find in the WordPress, so you can see the evolution that we're going through, and yeah, like you said, the format's awesome. It's a load of fun, so that won't change whatsoever. I'm curious to see what's gonna happen with Amonkhet though. Looks like we have quite a few juicy cards coming in from there. Okay, Niels making some last second changes to his deck. Laurent has already presented. Niels is up 1-0. Finished game 1 with a double Alms of the Vein. So let's see what he will bring to the table in game 2, shall we? Laurent is on what seems to be a pretty standard black-green counters deck. The metagame Golem, as I mentioned before. So if you're interested in trying the format, if you have absolutely no idea what to play, I would suggest you take a very good look at Laurent's deck, because it's a very solid deck that pretty much builds itself, and from there you can start branching out, building a new deck, trying to beat the black-green counters deck. There's a lot of possible ways to do it. The hidden stockpile decks are pretty good against it. Some of the control decks do pretty well against it. And extremely aggressive decks also have some game if they have the mid-game planned as well. So let's... Ooh. Constrictor on an empty board. That's pretty strong. Niels has nothing to start off with there. So that means that Laurent's first play will be powered, and it is a Scrounging Bandar. That comes into play with 3 counters. Constrictor gets to attack for 2. And next turn we have the first moment of shenanigans with the Bandar and Constrictor in play. I know that the Sentry class testing group is moving away from the Bandar and into Seed Sculptor territory. That's Murderous Compulsion, taking out Murderous Compulsion, taking out the Winding Constrictor. We still have a 3/3 Scrounging Bandar in play. And the follow-up for 4 mana is Unfeathered Express. So this is one of the flex cards. Some players are running this, others aren't. It gives you trample and a self-growing creature with the Constrictor. So the trample is because this deck is a bit weak against token strategies, and of course the Express runs over that handily. I can't remember the name of the vampire Niels just played. It's discard a card, it gains flying. So it's a 2/2 for 2 that can jump. Also, I'm not sure what's wrong with the camera, but this is the best we can get to the image quality. So we are looking to upgrade. Let's hope that views like this will be a thing of the past in the very near future. We have a Pima Outrider for Laurent, and he chooses to get a servo, the nice Judge servo token. So possibly telegraphing that he has a Richkill Tusker in his hand. Niels discarding a Murderous Compulsion to get rid of the Express. or he could have just wanted the servo to crew the express, of course. There's actually it's easier if people are redirected at the WordPress, and through the WordPress there's a contact form. You can easily find me. So you Olivia's Bloodsworn, that could be the one. Bloodsworn sounds right. Or isn't that the one that gets first strike when you pay red? Yeah, that's the other one. Haste when you pay red. So discard Fiery Temper to get rid of the Outrider, giving the Vampire flying. So it does look more like a classic vampire deck with gifted Etherborns in them, rather than a black-red mid-range deck with vampire elements. This is, by the way, Niels' favorite color combination. I think I've seen him on 3 pretty radically different black-red decks already. And he's unapologetically honest about it as well. He just constantly says it's the best color combination. So I guess he's trying to prove it again by hopefully taking down the boogeyman of the format. So Laurent, I'm not 100% sure how many counters that servo has right now. So Prey Upon, I assume it has 3+1/+1 counters, yeah. So the servo survives. So this was a 2-for-1 to get rid of the Olivia, and another Scrounging Bandar to get the game going again. Also, I'm sorry if you can hear a lot of the ambient noise here. We're not exactly in the most ideal studio environments. Maybe if I hold the microphone like this, but that's very uncomfortable for me. Yeah, maybe we should mount it onto something. Looks a bit idiotic to have the sphere hovering in front of my face the entire time. Much better? Okay. So let me see if I can gerrymander a construction here to put the microphone at a more usable position. There we go. That should be better then. Now I can't see my keyboard anymore. So let's see if... Oh, that I already see from the decibel dial that this is a lot better. Okay. Also, I sit a bit straighter now that I don't have to bend down as much. There we go. Okay, back to the game. So we have a gifted Etherborn joining the fray. Sounds a lot better. Okay, I can keep it like this. It's on a box right in front of me right now. Makes typing a bit awkward, but let's see if we can keep it like this. Alright, so back to the game. Niels' gifted Etherborn seems to have clogged up the board. He is in a life total deficit at this point. But it looks like this deck is quite capable of coming back from that. Okay, Niels is already firing the Alms of the Veins here. More to give his vampire flying than anything else, I suppose, since it allows him to keep coming through for damage. Now Laurent gets the option to trade his 4-4 servo for a 2-2 lifelinker, an option he probably should be taking unless he has the rich scale Tusker in his hand. No blocks, and that's the Masquerade. We're in Belgium, Flanders, so we're in the city of Gent, a university city. Best city in the world, really. We already had this discussion on a previous stream. So you're watching a long way from home. But in the meantime, the Stensia Masquerade entered the game through madness after Laurent declared no blockers. So combat damage, +1/+1 counters all around, and Niels is suddenly in a lot better position. So oh, the gifted Etherborn is a vampire as well. I didn't realize that up to now. Okay, that makes its inclusion in this deck a lot more clearer. So Laurent was in a good position, but is now faced with a board that's a lot scarier than it was a couple of turns ago. Niels has also gained 6 points of life since that point. And then I'm starting to suspect Laurent is a bit stuck on mana. You wouldn't be surprised to see him holding 1 or even 2 5 mana cost cards in his hand. And now with the first strike from the Masquerade, the gifted Etherborn is very scary. Not sure if Laurent realizes, and yes, no, Laurent doesn't realize that the first strike on the death touch means that his Bandar will still be dying before it gets to deal damage. Yep. That's rough. So 6-16. Niels Vandevelde is 1 game up, do remember. So if he wins this game, he wins the match. And is 1 step closer to catching Edouard in the leaderboard. You can go to gentrymagic.wordpress.com for more information about the leaderboards and the tournament structure that we have here. That's an attune with Ether. That's not going to find him what he needs. So the servo will have to jump block this turn, so he can play assuming the 5. He has the 5-drop in his hand that I think he's been stuck on. So he's attacking. So the servo won't be blocking. So he'll be playing something right here, and has the murder to get rid of the gifted Etherborn. So by attacking, Laurent knows that the vampire probably will get flying again. Now he doesn't even have to, and we have a Fiery Temper discarded, and Niels taking the match 2-0, still rushing